right, guys, so we will be starting in just one more minute. Right, still more people are joining in. So, guys, hello and welcome, everybody. We would like to welcome all of you taking out time from your busy schedule and attending today's webinar. Just a bit of housekeeping before we go ahead and get started. So, guys, this is an hour-long webinar in which we are going to go ahead and explain you a lot of stuff in the world of data science. But just to add a few more things, we have kept you all on mute as of now, okay, so that you can hear the speaker loud and clear. However, if you have any question, any doubt, anything that you want to ask, feel free to go ahead and type it in the chat box, and we will go ahead and take your questions one after the other. However, we will have a dedicated question and answer session at the end in which we will go ahead and answer all your questions. Today's webinar is about data science industry trends and the opportunities, and we are proud enough to let you know that today's session will be taken by Dr. Sharanya Ravi. Dr. Sharanya Ravi brings with her more than a decade of experience working in the field of data science, and she has worked with multiple banks, in the finance industry. She has also worked in the medical and bioinformatics industry, and helped companies save millions and millions of dollars by implementing data science. So without further ado, let me go ahead and pass on the mic to her so that she can go ahead and take us into the beautiful world of analytics. Dr. Sharanya, can you hear us?
Hi, thank you so much for the lovely introduction.
My pleasure. It's all yours.
Okay. Am I loud and clear? Just give me a thumbs up if you all can hear me very well. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's dive into our session today, and I'm going to take you through this journey of different opportunities in the field of data science. It's going to be quite interesting, so brace yourself. Let's go on. So what are we going to see today? Today we're going to see what exactly is data science. Why are we all here? We're all interested in data science. Then, how has data science come about? This is a new trend, right? New in the sense of 20 years or 10 to 20 years. It's still very new. Why has it come about? And why is this sudden urge to go towards this topic? Okay. And how is this transforming the world? And then what are the current trends? Not just in, maybe if you think of data science, you all think of IT industry. No, any industry you take, right? How are the trends in different industries and how data science is really taking up the space within any industry you can think of? And what are some of the opportunities for you? Okay, so this is just about me, very brief. I think Sanket has done a very good job introducing me. So, like I said, I'm a PhD in bioinformatics. So I have a tremendous amount of experience within the field of data science in various sectors as well. Right? Okay. Now, let's dive in. Right now, within this era, we are in the era of Industry 4.0. Now, what is this Industry 4.0, right? Before we jump into what Industry 4.0 is, let's go back a few versions, right? So let's start Industry 1.0. So we started off where steam power was introduced and mechanization was introduced. And from there, we moved on to the second industrial revolution where electric power was introduced. And there was mass production that was taking over. From there, we moved the third industrial revolution, where there was electronics, a little bit of IT, information technology, there was this automation process, there were robots, all these were introduced. Okay, so these were version one, revolution one, two, and three. Now, just to give you a quote, right? Nothing happens overnight. So this is a quote by James Dicey, where he says that, something new out of nothing without research is not going to happen. So without long and hard hours of effort. So there is we are in 4.0, but it didn't happen overnight. It went through different processes, and now we are finally here. Now, what exactly do I mean by Industry Revolution 4.0? So this is an era where there is automation, AI, Internet of Things, and cloud computing, which is built upon Industry 3.0. So we still have this automation, and then we have taken it to the next level where there is some more automation using artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, where you have sensors giving out data and learning, machine learning, cloud computing. So all these are the parts of the fourth industrial revolution. Now, this is basically trying to improve the business and achieve more profits and more efficiency. Right? So what exactly is Industry 4.0? It's basically a combination of cyber physical systems, IoT, Internet of Things, smart machines, right? It's a combination of these factors that are going to make a very smart industry, right? So that is what is the, where we are right now. Now, how does all these connect to data science? Now, let's talk about data science and AI. So why do I talk about this? Why are we all fussing about this? What is this whole trend behind data science and AI? Okay? So before I jump into why we are doing this, a question to all of you. How much data do you think we are creating every single day? In 24 hours, how much data do you think we are generating? Give me a ballpark figure. It doesn't have to be exact. Do not Google or anything. Whatever you think, just type it in. You can put it up in the chat. There's no right or wrong answer. I just want to give you a feel about how much data we are handling every day. Millions, quantifiable, terabytes of data. Okay, yes. Millions, yes. Any more answers? Zettabytes. Okay. Zettabytes, okay. How many zettabytes? You can tell me. Zettabytes is okay, huge. Every interaction or activity could be considered as data. That could be exactly your data contains. Explore your data. Then maybe you can create some visuals or you create some summary reports. You get some kind of useful insights. Look at some patterns, right? Once you see these patterns, you need to show it to somebody, right? It could be your stakeholders, it could be your managers, it could be your top corporate level, or it could be the government, whoever your audience is. You need to show it to somebody because you need to make some decision out of it. So you create a dashboard. All right. Then once you create a dashboard, you try to understand the inferences better and take it to action. So this is typically what you can do with data. Right? Now, what are the different data in different sort of businesses? When I say businesses, it could be travel, healthcare, marketing, automation. Right? We're going to see few industries and few use cases where data science can be used. Now, before I jump into some use cases, now what exactly is data science? When I say data science, what do you understand out of it? Before I tell you what it is, I want to hear what you have thought in your mind, okay, about data science. What do you think data science is? Waiting for some responses. Joshua just learned it a month ago. Okay, could be a revision for you. Strong time, analyzing, okay, combination of computer science, stats, theory, yes, okay, study of data and gathering insights. Okay, Mark, yes, the most intriguing field as of today. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's all right. You know, it's going to, sorry, it's a combination of all whatever you said right now, right? So data science is a study. If we have one more response here, harnessing data and converting into powerful hindsight. Of course, absolutely right. Okay, so data science is basically a study to extract some meaningful insights for your business, of course, to make more money, right? Ultimately, that's all we are working towards, to make more money or to improve a condition, right? Maybe it's not just money, maybe it's improving your environment, right? Improving a particular condition. It is multidisciplinary. It combines, like you said, it combines math, stats, artificial intelligence, computer engineering. You're absolutely right. It's a combination of various fields, as in like stats, data research, data consulting, right? Visualization, right? All these are put together to form data science. Okay? And of course, it helps the scientists ask questions and answer what happened, what might happen, give you recommendations. So all these are part of that. Well, but keep in mind, broadly, these are what active analytics. So when I talk about data cleaning, ask any data analyst or data scientist, anyone who works with data, they'll tell you 80% of their job is to clean and prep the data. 80% of the job goes there. Because once you have the right data, then the following steps are going to be smooth. But if your data is bad, it's almost like having a very bad foundation to your building. Right? If you have a bad foundation, anything you do after that, it's going to collapse. Right? So 80% of your time goes into cleaning and prepping your data. Then, of course, you explore your data, you visually inspect your data, and then you create some machine learning models to make some predictions. So that's exactly what you're going to see in the next slide here. So this is basically the maturity, the different aspects of data science. So till over here, you would see that, or till here actually. It's basically the first step, talking about what happened and why it happened. So you're asking about something that has already happened. So you're going to explore to see what happened. Then you move on to talk about why it happened. This is simple, fairly simple. But we're not happy there because we're all interested about the future. Right? Would you go back to see what was the weather yesterday? No, right? You always want to see what's the weather tomorrow or in the next few hours. We don't care what happened yesterday, right? It's not that we don't care at all. But we're not, when you open your app, you're not going to see what was the weather last week. No. You want to know what's the weather next week so that I plan my holiday or something like that. So we want to look at the future. When you look at the future, you start to look at predictive analytics. What will happen? And make some recommendations based on your predictions, right? So these are the different how data analytics have matured over the past few years. So we are all here, and data science and AI and ML is all part of this big block here, right? So of course, without the first blocks, you can't, without the first few steps, you can't go here at all. Right? So that's exactly what where we are. Of course, the complexity of the skill sets are going to increase as you go ahead, but you add a lot of productivity and value to your organization or your work as such. Okay, so of course, this is the typical data workflow. You have come up with a question, try to prep your data behind that question, analyze it, interpret, and communicate. This I already told you, right? You want to communicate it to somebody. Now, why do we have to do this? To take action. I told you, right? We need to take action based on some patterns you see or some insight you see, some observation you see. I want to take a particular action. Right? Now, let me give you a very nice example which everybody can relate to. Netflix, right? So this being a weekend, I'm sure you have some shows that you are going to catch up tonight, right? Now, what happened was, this is initially, Netflix had a way to basically give some kind of ranking to a show, right? It gives the rating to a show. So what happened was, when they were doing their analytics, they saw that customers were not watching 5 to 10% of a show. They were watching it only 90 to 95%. They were not watching that video to the entire full length. So this was what they found. Now, this answered the question, what happened? Now, next was to find out why it happened, right? So they deep dived into it and saw that the parts they were not watching was the title role and end credits. That was the 5 to 10% that they were not watching. So that's the insight they got out of it. Okay, they found something, they found the insight. Now they took an action on it. What did they do? They introduced the famous intro and next episode buttons there, right? This is our the devil buttons that push us to binge watching, right? So these two were the outcome of the inference they got from their analysis. So this is a typical example of an actionable insight. So this is what we are all striving to do. We want to look at a particular insight and take it to an action, right? So that's what we are going to do. Now, what is AI here? We saw about data science, but what exactly is AI? Anyone can tell me? Quick understanding about AI. Okay, someone's here. Machine learning, yes, definitely. Artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? AI, yes, of course. Artificial intelligence, yes. Robotics, yes. All of them are part of it. So what exactly it is, this is by the father of AI, John McCarthy. The foundation of ChatGPT, yes, of course. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So science and engineering of making intelligent machines, especially intelligent computer programs, the type of technology that imitates human cognitive function to do work. Yes, Jane, that's really true, right? AI is not just these, even your simple calculator is an AI because it's an artificial intelligence. It's trying to calculate something, right? It's following some instruction. So that's an overview of AI. AI is a big umbrella, right? Anything that is trying to produce your work by following certain set of instructions and performing certain actions is artificial intelligence. Within that comes machine learning. What machine learning does is, right? Machine learning is just a branch of AI where the construction study of a system that can learn from data. So this is actually a Wikipedia definition. So basically, machine learning is it performs certain action and it relearns, keeps learning from the outcome. So that is machine learning. So if you go back here, you have machine learning, and then you have something called deep learning. Deep learning is when you are trying to imitate the human brain using networks, right? Like neural networks, right? So that's the next level. So our AI, you have machine learning, and then you have deep learning, where you're trying to create, things like humanoids, and that's next level. But deep learning is basically trying to make another human brain, right? As close as possible. Now, how is it coming back to the applications of data science in different industries? So let me quickly take you through some of them. So manufacturing, you have smart sensors that's going to collect information. Right? In Singapore, you have these metro lines where they have sensors. Instead of people walking to see if there is any faults in the tracks, right? Gone are those days. Now you have sensors that are going to pick up anything that is faulty. It could be a machinery, it could be the device, or it could be one of your any product within it. It can detect these anomalies, and instead of a human eye, it's going to do that. How? Based on the data. It learns from the data and tries to analyze it. So of course, it's going to improve the efficiency. Healthcare, MRI scans, right? Yes, doctors are the ultimate people who are going to prescribe things to you, do things on you, but it helps them analyze the AI, right? MRI scans. These images are going through these machine learning algorithms and these programs that can detect anomalies very, very quickly, faster than a human eye, right? So if it is faster, you can detect these anomalies faster, and you can actually help the patients much quicker, right? You're going to save time and lives. Now, how about the outbreaks, flu outbreaks as well? They can be detected. So you can predict these outbreaks, and you can warn the necessary people. It could be a school, it could be an organization, right? And you can actually take action even before it happens. We all went through the big pandemic, right? This is Singapore's dashboard, but every country had their own dashboards, talking about how many cases are there that particular day, whether it's increasing, decreasing, so on and so forth, right? You had many, many things that have been listed there. And you can even, for bigger countries, you can look at this dashboard area-wise, city-wise, state-wise, so on and so forth. Okay, that's about healthcare. Now, how about retail? I'm sure all of you have been victims of personalized marketing, right? You would probably have a conversation at home and you will see advertisements on your social media application, right? All your phones are listening to you. I'm sure when you're talking about furniture, you start getting furniture advertisement or something like that. And how many of you ended up buying something from them? Just a show of hand, or a thumbs up will do. Okay. We have anyone? Not bad. Nobody fell for that. Interesting. Oh, yes, we have two people. Yes, every damn time. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes it's very creepy. I've seen advertisements of bed sheets with my name running across it, which is quite creepy, right? So it's things like that. They pick up information and they get targeted advertisements. Okay. I saw that. How sometimes demand forecasting also helps. So based on demand and supply. So every season, your demand changes and you need to set up your inventory accordingly, right? For example, Nestle actually saved millions by actually predicting. They did a what if scenario, looked at different scenarios and predicted certain demands and adjusted their inventory and saved a lot, right? Now, even auditing also, you can, this helps detect duplicates. It could be some errors, frauds, anomalies, all these can be detected. So something that human eye can miss, right? So this can help in saving a lot as well. Even in HR, like payroll timesheet, sometimes you have these ghost employees. You can look at claims, false claims, etc. Again, ultimately trying to find these, finding these, you might skip manual errors could happen. All these can be taken care of by analytics. And of course, sports, there's so many sensors, even the F1 races, the cars are fixed with so many sensors that can actually optimize in race strategy. So all these sensors can take on data and you can make predictions. Soccer as well. You can decide based on some of the data collected, you can decide which player is going to play which position, right? It can give you recommendations to that extent based on their previous performance in that particular field, the weather that time. All many conditions are taken into consideration, and the recommendations are given. So not just soccer, in any sport actually. How about supply chain management? So this is actually in the port in Singapore, and there are some automated guided vehicles. They are driverless. You have so many such vehicles that's running. That's again through AI. It's like driverless vehicle, right? Driverless cars that are going on. This is in the port. So supply chain management, you use the data that can actually, how different changes will affect different expenses. So all these scenarios can be analyzed quickly instead of going through the scenarios and then making decision. It gives you, okay, this happens, do this. If this happens, do that. Gives you different options and helps you make decisions. Okay, so now I'm going to walk you through few tools in data science, and very quickly, I'll walk you through. Within minutes, you can see how powerful data analytics can be. And with your very, very simple tools like number one, Excel, right? Let's look at this business scenario. So we have this head of loans department. He says, can we just brainstorm to see where and why people are taking loans from our banks or our institution? Can you all just make a suggestion? So his team is sitting around him. One says, okay, maybe people are buying a house. Maybe that's why they're taking loan. Now the person says, no, maybe they're paying their medical bills. It's huge right now. So maybe they don't have insurance, so they're taking loans. Now the person says, no, maybe they're just going to Vegas, taking a lot of loan to gamble or have fun. The head of the loan is not so happy. He says, I don't have any data about their loan, the customers and their loan information. Why don't we just look at this data and try to see if we can get something out of it? So it says, okay, let's try using Microsoft Excel. So as simple as Microsoft Excel can be useful in analytics. So let's see how you can get answer for these two questions using Microsoft Excel. So this is the data, and this contains a lot of information. The customer loan data talks about how much loan they've taken, some demographic data about where they are, what is their employment, what do they do, what is their salary, right? And you have almost 100,000 rows of data. Now, we are going to use something called pivot table. Pivot table is basically a tool to summarize your data, gives you an aggregate of your data. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to select the data and aggregate. So first, we're going to try to answer why they are taking these loans. So let's see the reason. So we create this pivot table, and we are going to use two columns. There is this column called purpose, and you're going to choose the loan amount. So for every purpose, it's just going to aggregate, add up all the loans taken for that particular reason. So if we just sort it, put it in the descending order, we get the top ones being debt consolidation and credit card refinancing, which we didn't even guess, right? Now, let's not stop there. I got my answer right now, but how about looking at it visually? It's easy to pick it up when you see it visually, right? So we're just going to create a graph for the same. So this is how the graph will look. So now I don't even have to bother about the numbers. Just looking at this bar graph, I can understand that the top reasons are debt consolidation and credit card refinancing. Okay. Barely took me a minute. I answered the first question. Now let's look at the second question here. Where are these loans being taken from? So if you go back to our data, we are again going to consolidate it. We have this address state information. So this data is from the United States of America. So you have the information about the different states these customers are from. So we're going to use that information and look at the top states that are taken maximum loan. Again, it's all in numbers. But let's make it quite interesting. Let's put that as a visual to actually look at it better. So I'm going to create a graph. Now I'm going to use the maps option within Excel. And the darker the color, the more loan that particular state has taken. So I don't even have to look at the numbers again. The minute I see that California is the top, next followed by Texas. So the darker the color, the more loan. So this quickly tells me where most of my customers are from. So barely a minute for each question, and I've answered it using Excel. Right now, yes, we got our answer for both credit card refinancing and debt consolidation, and California, Texas being the top states that are taking loans. So this will help these guys plan for their next quarter according to that. Now, let's look at another scenario, but this time we're going to use a different tool. Okay, this is a retail company, and now what's happening? So this is something good. So they actually did really well this year, and they want to show it off to their corporate team. So they want to show, he says, okay, he talks to his team. He says, can we create a business BI report where we can highlight our success? So before that, she said, okay, let's consolidate our information. So I think the best months have been December, Jan, Feb, because that's where I do my shopping. That the next person says, no, maybe it's somewhere in the middle of the year because the profit margins are usually high then. But the boss says, hey, let's probably use Power BI, right? We all went through the course, and let's use Power BI and try to get it. So this is actually a report created using the sales data, and it's on Power BI. Now let's show you how interactive it can get. Right, so this immediately has different information in one sheet. So this is actually showing you the sales by year. I can actually drill down to see by quarter, and I can go by months, and there you already see June and December have picked up. Then I can put it in focus and showcase that. When I'm presenting it to somebody, I can showcase it and say, hey, June and December has been up. And suppose I want to know, even within December, which days have done really well. So I can deep dive in that sense as well. I can drill down within that particular month. And when I click on December, if you notice, all the other graphs are changing and giving you information only for the month of December, right? So everything is very interactive. Anything you click here, it's going to give you very specific information. So you don't need another person to pull out the information for you. It's very sufficient. So here it gives you day-wise how the sales has happened. Okay, and of course you see how interactive the entire thing can get. It can get much more information about which category has done well, so on and so forth. So it looks really nice. So again, very simple to create such reports, and these reports are very, very dynamic and very useful. So yes, mission 2 also accomplished. Again, there were spikes in the month of June and the end of the year, and it also looks very cool. And it says that there was technology category that did the best compared to the rest, right? So this again was a success. Now, finally, one more tool. So this is from a bank in the customers department. So what's happening is they say that the head of the customer department says, okay, you know what, we've been having a lot of customers leaving us. Let's see why they are leaving us. Right? I want to get to the bottom of this. So it's important. Why? Because we have to retain them. Without customers, no income, right? So we have this expert Python programmer who says, okay, let me use Python programming to predict why these customers are leaving us. So Python is, this is actually an example on Jupyter Notebook where you are predicting the customer churn. And this is how you import certain libraries. It's a little bit, it's actually the simplest language you can learn if you have never dealt with programming. So you can actually prep, clean your data, visualize your data, right? It can make some comparative study. All these are exploratory analysis. Once you do all your exploratory analysis, you can jump into start creating a machine learning model. So before that, you prep your data again. You have your training set, test set, you split your data, then you train your model, right? And check the performance. And then you also look at the best features that are going to affect your model. Now, these are these are the features. So these, if I pause here for a second, so these features are the top reasons why people are leaving, right? These are the features that are affecting the people who are leaving. So you can pick up the reasons from here and prepare for that, right? So this helps us understand our customers and make our decisions. So this is actually a decision tree. So this is a model, and you can use Python to create such models and make predictions, right? Now again, mission 3 accomplished. Now we can target the customers based on their, the reasoning we predicted, and we try to retain them. So this is actually where we are headed to. We are trying to become a strong future-oriented workforce. We want to get the right skill set to actually get, or the right talent to get into such industry 4.0, be a part of this industry 4.0. Now, what are the current trends and what's in it for you? So we have a huge demand, right? We not just want analytics, like you saw, it's of various parts, right? You need to gather, you need to analyze, and you need to interpret these information. So any big company should need people who are able to do these steps, right? So any company, be it any field, you are all constantly looking out for people with such skills, right? Now, again, data science is expanding, right? It's tremendously growing. When compared to other typical IT jobs, this is a growing field. Always there's something new that's coming up, something new to learn. So there is a growth that is always happening, and you have a very good chance to be part of it quickly. Yes, there's currently a mismatch in the demand and supply. Right? So number of data scientists are very minimal. So if you have the right skill set, you will be grasped and taken in very quickly. Right? And data science is completely data driven. All your decision making is data driven. So you are the center of decision making. Right? They need to develop these abilities to use statistics, information technology. Right? You are the heart of decision making. You help in and aid into decision making. Right? And it's a great way to gain new abilities. Right? It can significantly help, even in the current job, it can significantly contribute to improve your business. You don't need an IT expert to come in and jump in to do these things. These skill sets you can rely on self-reliable. Right? So you can, of course, move on in your career as well. So it's becoming like a basic necessity in any kind of a job. Right? And Why is it so easy? Because it's flexible learning. You don't need to go sit inside a classroom to learn data science, right? All you need is a computer. There are many online data science courses, right? And it's very, very self-paced, or you can have a directed learning. So you have so many options to learn data science. And you, it's good to be part of it. Now that everybody knows ChatGPT, right? So these are things that you can be aware of. There are different aspects to it. There are new things that are coming up every day. So you will learn about the new cutting edge technology and be a part of the growing era. Now, where do I start? Is a good question. So for someone who is absolutely new, they don't know anything about IT, it's a good place to start with your basic tools like Excel and Power BI, right? It's no coding involved and it's pretty simple. Excel is something everybody is used to, just that there are so many features we've not even touched upon. And of course, Power BI is a visualization tool, again, through Microsoft. So the UI is going to be very, very similar to Excel. So it will be easy like any other, Microsoft tools. So these two could be something you can start with. Okay? Now, moving on, if you want to get into the AI and machine learning aspects of data science, you could learn Python. Like I said earlier, Python is one of the simplest language you can start off learning. It's almost like English sentences if you look at Python codes. So even if you don't become a Python expert, when you learn Python, you can look. There are you don't need to reinvent wheel every time. There are many, many programs that are available which you can use. So if you're able to understand Python and read Python scripts, it will be a very, very added advantage when you are trying to create machine learning models. All right. Now, Microsoft, if you see this Gartner chart, you will see that Microsoft, Tableau, Click, these are some of the BI platforms that are leading in the market. And in that, Microsoft is the topmost position because of the ease of use. All right. And Python, why Python? Python is very popular. It's lucrative, right? It's already in use, right? At one point, it was, if you look at this chart here, and at one point it was R, and at the peak it was C sharp, right? Now Python is taken over. If you look at this orange color bar here, the time series, you see this orange is Python, Python is taken over. So C sharp, Java, C++, it's still there, but Python is actually taken over, and in different industries. How about SQL? SQL, yes, SQL is, again, it's a part, and you can integrate SQL. SQL is for querying, handling your databases when you're trying to fetch information from your databases. Yes, SQL is also a very good tool, or a skill to gain when you are trying to integrate databases into your Python program. So if you learn data science, you might create a nice dashboard like this. You will be able to create. It's not, dashboard is not going to happen immediately. I told you, right? There are steps behind it. Getting the right question, getting the right data, cleaning your data. So many things happen before you end up with something like this. So if you learn data science, you will know how to end up with a dashboard like this. Yeah? So some more current trends in data science with machine learning, you would have noticed this computer vision, right? Computer vision, they are tracking all the cameras around us, able to detect our facial recognition. All these things are the next aspect of machine learning. Then you have NLP, natural language processing using BERT, right? It can predict a sentence prediction, even your, the keypads within your phone, right? It can detect your next word, or if it, even in your Google, in Gmail, right? It kind of ends your sentences. It finishes your sentences for you. All these are NLP. You even have AI that creates art. I'm sure everybody, a lot of you have heard about some of the AI applications where it takes your pictures and make art from your own images, right? All the images you're seeing right now, all the artwork you're seeing right now are created by artificial intelligence, not by a human, right? And of course, the ever so famous ChatGPT, it's chat generative pre-trained transformer. That is what is ChatGPT, if you didn't know before, right? It is a chat bot developed by OpenAI. So it's basically taking over everybody's interest right now. Now, how about all of you, right? What about you? What is tech and you? How much of tech do you use in your daily life, right? And what is your objective? You need to know what your objective is. Right? You want to look for new opportunity, or do you want to just stay relevant with what's happening, or you're just curious, right? Because there are so many words that are hanging around. If you just open a LinkedIn or any article, you will see all these jargons that are floating around. Right? So many things like you have big data, zettabyte, cloud, deep learning, biometrics, IoT, so many things are there. So if you are familiar with machine learning or with data science, you will get into this world of jargon as well. So a question, it's just a rhetorical question. Is there opportunities in this field for you? Definitely yes. Right? Definitely yes. It's electricity in 2022. So there are tons of job options that are coming up. You have skills, data engineer, data scientist, you have big data manager, you have data visualization expert, so many different parts. Data science is basically split into many parts. So you don't have to be an expert in everything. Knowing them is good, but you can choose to take your expertise. It's not that only if you do machine learning you're a data. Even the other, you can become a visualization expert. You can become an analyst, right? So there are different aspects to it. So if you say, okay, coding is not for me, but there are other aspects as well, right? So definitely you have a role within this area of data science. And of course, yes, do I get high salary? Yes, it varies by position. It could be your industry, the location, the services you provide, right? Of course, the more skill sets you have, the more value you add to um, you know, the company or your system. Yes, there is a difference between data scientist and data engineer. Definitely, data scientist, like the word scientist. What does a scientist do? He does research, comes up with new ideas, etc. Right? Data engineer handles the data, puts it up in, organizes it, creates databases, data lakes. It is more like trying to get your data organized, put it in the right position. That is a data engineer, right? So there is a difference between that, right? Yes. So definitely improving, getting more skills, learning more aspects of data science is definitely going to put you up in a higher pedestal. Yes, future focused career. So you can, data science is definitely a promising career path for everyone who's interested. And right now, understanding data and data science puts you in a very, very high pedestal if within any organization. If you know it, this can significantly boost whatever you already know. So if you have a business knowledge, added to this, if you have this data science knowledge, you're going to go to a different level. Right? Because knowing your business, knowing your data is an added advantage when you also know the research part of it, right? So definitely it's going to help you grow in your career. It doesn't matter whether you're going to change your job or you're going to try to improve within what you're already doing. Either way, it's going to help you leaps and bounds, right? So I welcome all of you to come learn data science today and come join the tech industry. So thank you so much for taking the time and listening to me. And yes, I will give it back to Sanket right now and open for any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sharanya. Thank you for such a beautiful presentation. Every time I hear somebody speak about data science, I fall in love with data science one more time. And I'm pretty sure that's the case with most of you today also. See that some very interesting questions have been coming in, guys. So, well, the remaining time of the session, more or less, we have dedicated for your questions, so that if you have anything to ask in the vicinity of data science, data analytics, anything as such, you can feel free to go ahead and ask us, and we'll be more than happy to go ahead and address all your questions. Right, guys, so we are all ears right now. Anybody has any question, feel free to ask. So we see a few questions coming in. What price are we looking for this course? Well, just what that totally depends on the courses that we are talking about. I would rather suggest to you to get in touch with one of our academic counselor to understand what your exact needs are, where you stand right now, what you need to study, and accordingly we can go ahead and let you know more about it. The flagship program that we go ahead and cover over here at Xaltius is the 6 months data science program, which gets you more than equipped for all the challenges upcoming in the world of data science. Anybody else has any more question, guys? Feel free to go ahead and type it in. Right. Trung says, do you mind sharing the slides so I can recap your presentation? Well, the session is being recorded, and likewise, it's getting live broadcasted on LinkedIn and YouTube. So again, it's available anytime that you wish to watch it one more time. You can go ahead and go on our social media platform. If you're not following us on LinkedIn, Facebook, please make sure you do that, and you'll never miss an update from us. And yes, as I said, you can watch the presentation any number of times. I have another question coming in from Rex. Do you have career center to help aspiring data scientists? Well, we go ahead and run a lot of placement workshops. Let's bring Sharanya into this conversation. Dr. Sharanya, what do you want to say about aspiring data scientists? How hard is it for somebody to go ahead and start their career in data science, irrespective of the age?
Okay, so let me be completely honest. So it is a learning curve, right? So if you are already working with data and just trying to improve on it, yes, it is a step on what you're already doing. But if it is absolutely new, yes, I would suggest you to take up any kind of internship roles or any kind of roles where you can learn, because it is a gradual step within the career. It's not going to happen in one go. So today I learned data science. I'm not going to become a data scientist pro, right? It is almost like learning something new, right? You're starting from ABC. So every step you will learn something new. So if you take up any opportunity that you see, right, it may not be very lucrative at the beginning, but if you see an opportunity, do take it up, because every opportunity is a learning opportunity. And eventually you will see money. You won't see, if you say, I land up on a very high paying job initially when you're starting as a fresher, might not, right? I'm being very honest. But nevertheless, you will learn more and you will take it up. The ramp is high. The more experience you get, you will go up your levels much faster.
That's very well said, and it's absolutely true. In the beginning of your career, it's more important to keep learning. So not focus on the money that you're earning out of it, but also focus on the knowledge that you're gaining out of it. Because the more time you invest in gaining more knowledge, skill sets, that's actually going to pay you in the long run. That's very well put. Also, there are more questions that I see coming in. Is it true that data science normally work remotely? If yes, what are some situations that this might not be the case?
Okay, so to answer that, for example, if you're working in a bank as a data scientist, right? Sometimes the data is very, very sensitive it cannot leave the premises. In that sense, you have to be within the premise to actually do your analytics, because you can't do it remotely, because there are some restrictions over certain data sets. So in that case, you probably have to be in the premise.
That is true. Well, not only in banking, honestly, there are a lot of different scenarios that I can also go ahead and think of. In banking industry, obviously, the data has its own power, because there is a lot of confidential information that has to be used, so you can only access it within the premises, because it actually puts a lot of users to their risk. So that's one thing. But similarly, there's data almost everywhere. So it all depends on the nature of the business that we are talking about. It also depends about the flexibility. Well, post COVID situation, there's a lot of things that have gone online, so work from home is an option that a lot of data scientists actually go ahead and get. But yep, that's very well put. It all depends on the kind of data that you're dealing. Another question that I see, is there any prerequisites before taking data science field? Example, competency, fundamental know-hows. Is there any prerequisites that you would like to say? Because I know as a fact that I've trained a lot of people coming in from pharma background, HR background also, into data science. So Dr. Sharanya, your take on that?
So prerequisite, just that you have data available around you. That's probably it, right? You can start off even from ground zero. Like I said, Excel, I'm sure everybody has touched Excel at some point in their life. If you have done that, if you know how to open an Excel, or you have Excel on your computer, you can get into the world of data science. So that's something I can surely tell. You don't need, as far as you have some business knowledge that can actually help you. So even if it's going to be data cleaning, remember I said data cleaning is a very big aspect of data science. When will I know whether my data is all right? When I know the data. Suppose I am from the finance background and I look at financial data compared to a person from a biology background. When they look at the financial data, a financial expert can find out problems than compared to a biology person, right? So that's the thing. Having your business knowledge and having access to your computer, I think that is the biggest prerequisite. Okay, and then you will, when you start your journey, you will learn. You will keep learning. It's almost like doing medicine, right? Medicine, you always learn. Every day something new comes. Right? Similarly, so this is a learning journey, and you can start from ground zero for sure.
So to summarize, you need to have a problem-solving approach. That's it. You build that mindset, you come with that mindset, leave everything to us or the experts, wheresoever you're learning from, and we'll make sure that you are equipped enough. What should be the acceptable level of communication to convey business insights or visualization to the clients? Art of storytelling, a very important skill set that a data scientist should have. Dr. Sharanya, would you like to take this question also?
Yes. Like any skill, it comes through practice, right? If you are able to, so of course you need good language skills to actually put it across. And it's okay. You might stumble upon initially, but eventually you will, as you practice, you'll get it. So it is very important. It's not just analyzing. You need to understand. When you are doing the work, you'll understand the data. You need to create a story around it. Make it interesting, right? You can't just say, okay, you see this graph, okay, you see something going on, that's it. No, you need to create a story, point it out, highlight that. When you communicate that, that's where you are going to create an impact. And that comes through practice as well, right? Don't get intimidated. When you are confident about your data, talk about it with full-blown confidence. That's about it.
That is true. And communication is a very important skill set to have in any line of business, to be honest. If you can express your heart out, if you can express what you're doing, that actually can do wonders to your career. So, there's no running away from it. I have another question coming in from Joshua. Can a data science certificate program be a substitute to a degree? Well, having taken so many interviews, I can also go ahead and add to this and say that companies look for people who can actually go ahead and perform a job at the end of the day, irrespective of you having a degree or not. So that's one thing being said. See, degree is one thing. If degree can only go ahead and fetch you a job, 80% of the graduates wouldn't be, finding it hard to get a job or, enter the market. So it's all about the kind of knowledge that you actually go ahead and gain. The certification program, for example, the one that we offer, we go ahead and add 2 months of internship with it. The biggest problem that we have realized being an AI driven company is that there's a huge difference between what academics have to offer and what companies actually want. And we go ahead and try to bridge that gap by multiple things. We go ahead and make sure that there are industry professionals who are actually teaching you. We make sure that we add internships so that you understand the the minutest of details before you go ahead and take a job role. So I wouldn't call it to be as a substitute, but again, a certificate can actually make sure or can be actually produced as something significant that actually proves the kind of knowledge that you hold, and the job that you will be getting, the work that you will be doing will be more or less based on the kind of knowledge that you have acquired. And it doesn't matter you got that knowledge from a degree or from a certification program. Would you like anything? Would you like to add something to that, Dr. Sharanya?
That's absolutely well said, actually. So it's more a skill set than actually looking at the degree. The more certifications, they're actually certificates saying that you have that skill set. So that is going to impress your, the person who's hiring you or any place you're trying to get a job. So they look at your certification, they're like, okay, you know this, right? So that is a validation that you are aware of these skill sets.
Correct. Certificate degrees, they can get you a seat, next to an interviewer. They can make you get seated. They can give you the interview opportunity, but you'll have to crack it based on the skill sets that you have. That's the bottom line. I have another question coming in from MJ. It says, presented are the problems and solutions targeted for business world. How about application of data science or its promise in sector of education?
Absolutely. So our company itself is, we are an educator. It's an edutech company, right? So we do take this up as a problem, and we try to bring up a lot of solutions for that as well. There's a lot of analytics that's happening even within the education sector. So this, most of the classes, if they are on Zoom, right, or if you're going to be on some kind of a platform, we do collect data. It could be image data, it could be a voice data, it could be the assessment, it could be feedback. All this data helps improve the sessions, improve the content, right? So many things happen even with the education industry. So you have smart classrooms these days, right? A lot of schools have taken up smart classrooms. How do they come up with their content? How do they come up with their syllabus? Revision of syllabus. All this is also a part of. They analyze these data, look at the performance of the students. All the data analysis happens, and even assessments, right? How hard should it be? How what kind of questions should be added to the assessment? All this is analyzed based on the students' performance. So all these is also analytics in the education sector as well.
That is true. And customized learning has also become a thing, based on the needs of the learner. You would agree, it's not a one size fit all market. There are people, some people understand something in an hour, somebody may take 3 hours. If you have seen platforms like Coursera, Udemy, where there are a lot of MOOC courses, there's actually recommendations engines actually working based on what you have learned in the past. They go ahead and recommend you better courses that are more relevant with the job roles that you're doing. So likewise, education industry has been impacted pretty much, by the use of analytics and data science, for sure. And we, Xaltius actually are working on it. We have a very, powerful AI-driven LMS also that we use.
Yes.
So, just to add to that. Anybody else has any more questions? We're getting some very good questions today. I'm actually liking this session more. Anybody else any more questions, guys? We're all ears. I assure you that we are not going to leave until and unless all your questions are answered. So if there's anybody has any more question, we still have like 5 more minutes to take your questions. Again, I would like to thank all of you once again for being a part of this session, taking out time from your busy schedule. It's Saturday. I understand there could be somewhere else that you could have been, but you chose to stay tonight and attend this webinar. So thank you once again for that.
Yeah, really appreciate that.
Great. Well, I do not see any more questions coming in. So I guess that's it. Thank you once again, guys. Thank you. It was really wonderful interacting with all of you, getting to know all of you, answering all your questions. And, on that note, we would like to go ahead and sign off. And, if any one of you is interested in learning more, any one of you want to go ahead and start your career in data science, well, our website, you can go ahead and get in touch with us, and we will be more than happy to go ahead and help you succeed in your journey in becoming a data scientist. So thank you once again. Any last words from you, Dr. Sharanya?
Thank you so much for having me today. And I'm so glad I could be a part of your journey. It could be a beginning for you. I'm so glad that I am a part of that journey. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all be a part of this lovely umbrella of data science. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you into our program. On that note, this is me, Sanket, signing off. You have a wonderful day ahead. Bye-bye. Take care and stay safe. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Bye.